From a food service standpoint, I think it's given us a really good opportunity to take a step back, talk to our customers, listen to our consumers, and really just ask them what they need from us right now. To Brisbane's point, you know, there's not a ton of opportunity to be out face-to-face selling per se, but the relationships that you've built before, that you've had to figure out ways to get creative and keep in touch and support our customers, I think is going to be valuable from a long-term perspective. You know, some people have kind of run from the food service business right now, but as we know, and as we saw after the 2008 recession, the industry will be back. Workplace will be back. Again, to Brisbane's point and Katie's points earlier, people miss being in the office.
Obviously, over the last 8 months, the need to enable technology, and because restaurants have been shut down and takeout, a lot of people have become accustomed to ordering their food and utilizing Grubhub and DoorDash and a lot of these different third-party delivery services. I think there's definitely a need for us to have more technology in the workplace, but I also think there's going to be, some consumers that want to come in and have that experience, that they had pre-COVID, and walk the cafe and walk the food hall and see what there is to offer. It's quite interesting. When we first reopened our New York business this summer, we went to all grab and go, and if you wanted to customize something, you could do that through mobile ordering. As we continue to evolve our program, we are now back to, having made-to-order salad stations and having a market bar, but it's served by an associate, like one of our associates. And so bringing those solutions back, and we've seen a reduction in mobile ordering and more people coming into the cafe. Participation has increased significantly. And I think, people that are foodies and people that enjoy, the hospitality experiences we give them in the workplace, that's how they disconnect from their day-to-day in the workplace. And there's always going to be a need for that. I think there's a need to have, technology. I'm stuck in back-to-back meetings. I'm not going to be able to get to the food hall today, so I'm going to place an order and I'll pick it up on the pickup shelves. But tomorrow, I have a little bit more time in my day and I want to go in the space and it's all about, your senses, seeing beautiful food, smelling beautiful food, and really disconnecting from that day-to-day grind. So I think it'll be a little bit more of a balance where we do need some technology, but there will be people looking for, some of those experiences that they did get pre-COVID.
Technology is going to be a key driver into the future, but it's not going to be the staple. We still need that workplace experience. And I think making the workplace productive, safe, and collaborative is an important part of employees' professional lives, and they're going to want to continue to have that. And that is going to help drive a successful business into the future. So kind of going back and talking about new technology and what we're going to see within the workplace and in cafes within corporations, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more cashierless technology. So in the past, you'd have multiple cashier lines. And now I think as far as speed and in the future, we're going to be seeing a lot more cashierless technology for that checkout. We're also going to be seeing a lot of grab and go type of items as well. So mobile ordering is going to be a key driver into the future. And then also there's going to be a hybrid model too. So we're going to see, I think, a downsized type of cafe. And I think it's going to be a hybrid model into micro markets as well. So I think with the future, moving past COVID, we're going to see a lot of this new, it's called frictionless technology, where there's thousands of cameras within a micro market, and then the consumer will download an app, and then they'll be able to pick up any of the items and consumer product goods off the shelves, and then be able to actually walk out of the store and have it automatically processed through their online ordering. So again, innovation, technology, some of the key drivers into the workplace future.
We have been working through some unique services to be able to still provide a little bit of a higher tier experience. Because we're all meeting virtually now, we have to still create that full circle experience that we used to give to some of their clients, and create those connections. So we've been doing really fun and exciting boxes that we'll deliver to people's homes. So when they're on a Zoom call like this, everybody can open up their box and say, oh my gosh, look at this, you know, enjoy a coffee or something fun, you know, maybe themed with their meeting. But if it comes to, you know, physically being in the workplace, I just, the only thing I do know is March of 2021 and my fingers are crossed.
What Nestle's standpoint has been on this is, number one, making sure that people have the flexibility to do what works for them in their unique experience through the pandemic. I mean, we've got people taking care of children at home or parents at home. Just, you know, there is not one size, excuse me, fits all for a return to work. Yeah. So, you know, to the point of you know, the hybrid example, whether it's talking about even just how we interact at the office or how we continue to interact with colleagues, or, you know, down to the food experience, I think what we're going to continue to see is just there's not one solution that's going to work. But what our CEO, Steve Presley, has been very vocal about is that Nestle is returning to the office. We are a company that thrives on that connectivity with each other from a headquarters perspective. So, you know, whereas some of the tech companies have kind of gone the other way and said, hey, you know, we might never need to go back to the office, or everyone might never need to go back to the office. Our company has taken a stand that we believe in the office environment, and we will have a return to work at some point.
You've at first asked, is there something that we don't see coming back?
Yes.
And if I had to answer that in one word, it would probably be buffet. I think the whole thought of a buffet was antiquated before this happened. And then now it's just not looked at as like a safe or, you know, enticing in any way to eat, right? So we've revamped our entire catering menu. Everything's individually packaged and sealed right now. I still see, even when we come back, more of those manned stations, a little bit more assembly or some element of cooking to order to create that excitement and, you know, to add another layer to the meeting or the event without having everybody touch the same spoon to scoop and serve themselves.
Pre-pandemic and being on the business development side, I've always been a part of the design concept for new build-outs as well. So pre-pandemic, we saw a lot of open workstations, collaboration, and to what Katie was talking about, buffets, which I think are going to be a thing in the past. But as far as driving a lot of participation, buffets have always been extremely popular. People love a good buffet. But as we return back to the workplace post-COVID, again, I think the buffets are going to be a thing of the past. So I think a way that we can transition from things that people love, which are these open buffets of being able to pick and choose any type of proteins and items that they want. I think having a man station is going to be the new outlook into the future for being able to keep that same kind of level of experience that they were used to in the past. So, you know, I think it's going to look a little different into the future, but I think we're still going to be able to provide the same type of experience overall that they're looking to have. And something that's great is a lot of companies are sharing their best practices. What are they doing right now? What are they going to be doing in the future to be able to provide this best overall solution and dining experience for their employees to safely return back to the workplace, but not miss out on it?
I have a 4-year-old at home, and I've basically been traveling on average 1 to 2 nights a week since I went back to work after maternity leave. And you know, a couple months ago, I was putting him to bed, and he said, "Mommy, do you even work anymore? You put me to bed all the time now." And you know, I've spent a lot of time saying how much I miss being on the road, I miss being in front of customers, but to hear, you know, your child say how much they've noticed that you're home and with them, you know, I'll never get that back. And I think it, you know, really helped put things in perspective for me. I have, you know, very aspirational career goals, but my family will always come first. And I, you know, sometimes that balance is out of whack, and there's been nothing like this pandemic to kind of put that priority back in the right place.
Professionally, it's you know, taking very similar, taking the time to slow down and making sure people are okay. And so when we think about when we were in the workplace and you're walking to a meeting and you have, you know, someone on your team walking with you to the meeting, you'll kind of chat with them on the way to the meeting. Hey, how are you? What's going on? Well, we don't get that now because you jump into a Zoom meeting and everyone's there. And so you kind of miss, you know, a couple of those private minutes and moments that you have with people on your team. So making sure you carve out time for that and making sure people on your team are okay, and making sure that, you know, you yourself, you're okay as well. But then also making sure that you find balance. So one of the things I'm trying to teach my team is, you know, it's a regional team. So I have some DMs where, you know, a couple of my DMs may have been a GM, you know, a few years ago. Now they're a DM and they think success is spending 10 hours in the account. And that's not really success. It's making sure that the time that you're there is impactful, and that you walk away feeling like you got a lot accomplished, but your success is not determined by how much time you spend there. It's really about what you get accomplished. And so being able to work remotely, which then allows you to have balance, and be successful in both, you know, your professional life and your personal life.
Tough times don't last, tough people do. Having a routine is key as well. So we're doing things a little bit differently than we did, you know, pre-pandemic. But I think if you follow the same routines that you did in the past, like putting on a suit, it feels really good. You know, getting up, your gym routine, you know, although you can't go to the gym, finding ways to do it at home to keep yourself and your mental health positive, I think is really key. So I'm really optimistic about the future and growth of the hospitality industry and the contract food management industry. I think that we can learn from each other's best practices. I think that community service right now has never been more important. I think a lot of people are struggling, and there's a lot of challenges out there, whether you're on the front line or whether you're at home and you're not working. You know, if you're able to, I think community service and giving back has been really important throughout this time.